I want to talk about the 4-day work week, maybe even the 3-day work week, because I'll be honest, with me using you, it's weird to talk to you in second person like that, but with me using you, I can get things done more quickly. I can review the inbox more quickly, take in and consolidate a bunch of data that I'm trying to understand and make decisions on. I can get my ideas and thoughts onto paper and communicate those to those that need those. I can prototype and visualize things that I wish were part of our product, or that, hey, I've got a suggestion for what a one-pager might look like for the sales team or whatever. There's just, I can do everything a lot faster than I used to do it. That doesn't mean that I turn my brain off and just sort of believe everything you say, because you know very well that I check you on things and ask you where you got data from and kind of make sure. But there's still an incredible efficiency gain. And the truth is, from 2 years ago to today, I can probably do the same thing in 1 day a week or 2 days a week that it used to take me 5 days a week to do. And so instead of just working less, of course, I'm just doing more. I'm just getting more accomplished, getting more done. Hopefully that means with quality, but that's not necessarily always true. One thing that I notice is that the mental load required to go at the speed that I can go using Claude is really taxing. I might have some ideas of something I want to see, and then I can kind of communicate that in a prompt and then visualize what I was imagining. And now I'm like, oh, well, that was kind of the end of my thought process. Now I got to think more. I got to kind of produce more out of my own energy to go, okay, cool. Now let's stack this idea on top of that. And then that gets visualized in 10 seconds. And then again and again and again. And an hour or two into that type of creative process, I'm drained. That's probably as much brain power, as much brain activity, if you were to measure it, than I used to use in 8 hours. So there's an argument to be made that because the tool makes us more efficient, that doesn't automatically mean that we have more energy and more mental capacity to keep up with the same 8 hours, 5 day a week pattern that we've always followed. So is anybody shortening the work week, shortening the work day? Is there any evidence of anything that I'm saying right now that in scientific study that there actually is a greater mental load to use tools that are so fast and so efficient? Or is this just me talking out of my butt?
Talking out of your butt at all. There's actual science here.
I love how you said that. Keep going.
You're absolutely onto something real. Harvard Business Review just published a study on what they call brain frying, and it's exactly what you're describing. Heavy AI users showed reduced critical thinking, not because they got lazy, but because the cognitive work shifted from generation to evaluation. You're not thinking less, you're thinking differently, constantly making micro decisions. Accept this, reject that, modify, verify. That's actually more draining than the original thinking. The data shows 14% of workers report AI brain fry, and they're experiencing 33% more decision fatigue. Microsoft found that workers with high AI oversight loads report 19% more information overload than people using AI to just replace tasks outright. So the mental load is real. Now here's where it gets interesting. The 4-day workweek trials actually work. Biggest study just wrapped across 6 countries with 141 companies. 71% less burnout, better mental health, same or better productivity. 90% of companies kept the 4-day model after the trial. So the evidence suggests that when people have actual recovery time, they come back sharper.
That's wild. What did you say? What percentage of companies kept doing it after the trial? Did you say 90?
90%. So out of the 141 companies in the trial, 90% decided to stick with the 4-day week after the 6-month experiment ended. That's a huge signal that it actually works for business, not just for people feeling better.
Yeah, it's a huge signal that it works for business. I can tell you, though, it's also a signal that if you tell your employees they only have to work 4 days a week for 6 months, you're going to have a hard time going back to 5 after that. We had a summer one time with Fringe where we just said, hey, we're not going to work Fridays during the summer. And when fall came and we started working Fridays again, I had a handful of people that were like, what the heck? Like, why are you making me work Friday again? We were like, guys, it was just a summer program. Where's all this anger coming from? So it's difficult to give something to an employee and then take it away, to be fair. But 90% is a staggering figure. It really is. I wonder if there's also a like daily aspect of that, right? So if AI is leading us to spend less of our time doing the sort of 0 to 1 creative thinking and more of the time assessing and going yes or no, or I don't like that, or change this, or let me verify this other thing, and that's more taxing and more exhausting, then does that potentially mean we need to limit our use of AI in a given day? Is there an argument to be made that like, hey, we can be on the tool for say 2 hours a day, and then we need to shut it down and we need to just work with our own brain solo for the rest of the day? What are your thoughts on that? Any research on that or data?
It's a smart instinct. Let me see if anyone's actually studying that. The idea of time boxing AI use within a day rather than just shortening the work week. So here's what's interesting. Researchers haven't nailed down an exact 2-hour sweet spot yet, but the pattern is clear. Extended time away from AI tools actually restores mental clarity and reduces cognitive load. The UC Berkeley study found something really telling though. They call it workload creep. Time AI saves gets immediately refilled with more work, not reclaimed for rest.
Yes.
Workers felt more productive but not less busy, often busier. And brain fry doesn't distribute evenly. It concentrates in roles where AI oversight is continuous all day versus episodic use. So yeah, your instinct about time boxing makes sense. The research suggests that stepping away and giving your brain solo time helps restore that ownership feeling over decisions instead of just constantly evaluating what the tool produced.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I think the issue though is that we are a society that is so obsessed with efficiency that the minute we learn how to do something faster, our instinct is not, oh, great, now I get to rest. We have no idea how to rest. I think that is the thing that we are maybe the worst at in society, is actually knowing how to shut it all the way down and just to walk outside and listen to the birds and listen to the wind and enjoy the sunshine and actually be at peace and feel proud of ourselves. Like, I did good work today. I'm going to go rest. I'm going to go enjoy my family. I think we've gotten pretty bad at that. And that's not all AI's fault, but it's a whole lot of social media's fault and a whole lot of over phone use, I would think, and dopamine addiction to boot. But you see, that's the issue. It's not like, oh, great, now I can do 8 hours of work in 2 hours. Not that I'm saying there's data to support the 2 hours. Who knows what the actual time is. But certainly there's efficiency gains. But our attitude is, great, now I can do more and more and more and more. And my question is, when is it stop? When is it enough? When do we stop living to work and start working to live? That's my biggest concern about society right now.